President Trump tweeted just moments ago the Mueller investigation saying, quote, "The Mueller witch hunt is a total disgrace. They are looking at supposedly stolen, crooked Hillary Clinton emails, even though they don't want to look at the DNC server, but have no interest in the emails that Hillary deleted and acid washed after getting a congressional subpoena." Here to take a look at the Russia witch hunt and the Clinton role in all of this, attorney, former member of the Oklahoma House of Representatives, Cleta Mitchell joins us tonight. Cleta, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Lou.
The president said that Mueller's gone rogue. We heard from Victoria Tensing earlier. She said he's been rogue from the very beginning back in May of 2017. Your thoughts?
Well, Victoria's right. You are right. The president is right. This is a travesty in terms of the way in which a criminal investigation in America is supposed to be conducted. In America, the government is supposed to investigate crimes, not people.
Right.
And here we have an investigation in search of a crime, and all related to President Trump and his 2016 campaign. Now, that is the opposite of what our American system is supposed to be. So when the president says this is a witch hunt, he is absolutely correct. And I'm with you, Lou. I heard you say when you were talking with Victoria that you're so frustrated you can't imagine how the president must feel. I think there are many of us who are frustrated. This is an effort to undermine this president and to keep him from performing his job.
Right.
It's amazing
Absolutely.
to me. It is amazing to me that he has been able to do all he has done, notwithstanding this daily attack from Mueller and this out-of-control investigation. And frankly, I would say to Senator Flake, who is saying he's going to oppose any judicial confirmations until the Senate takes up his bill to ensure the president doesn't fire Robert Mueller, I wish Senator Flake were as concerned about the victims of this Mueller travesty as he seems to be about protecting Robert Mueller's out-of-control witch hunt. It's very frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. He is an irritant, and along with Adam Schiff, we can only imagine what the escalation will be. This Schiff already saying, who will be leading the Intelligence Committee, that he's going to go after the money of the Trump organization, and he doesn't want to acknowledge that this has been a Democratic investigation for just about 2 years now of this president on the issue of collusion and any other quote-unquote offense they could find. It is stunning to listen to the raw, brazen ignorance of Adam Schiff and this Congress as they prepare to take power in the House of Representatives.
Well, it's very worrisome. You know, Lindsey Graham had that statement during the Kavanaugh hearings on another topic about how greedy the Democrats were for power. And he said, boy, I hope you don't get it. Well, they got it, and we're getting ready to see them use it. But look, I think there's a silver lining. I always say that that people giving control of the House back to the Democrats is like going back to an old boyfriend that you broke up with, and when you get back with him, you realize why you left him in the first place. So I'm just hoping and praying that the American people will realize that they really don't want Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and all those people to be in charge. But I think we're in for a rough ride. And frankly, one of the things the Republicans ought to do over the next few weeks is make sure that they have funding and provisions in place to help protect all these people who are going to be subjected to enormous legal fees, enormous costs and attacks from these Democrats. I wish I thought that the Republicans in Congress would do that before they lose complete control. Yeah. I'm not holding my breath, but I wish they would.
I'm sure that Paul Ryan is talking with all of his lobbyist friends over at the Koch brothers, Chamber of Commerce, the Business Roundtable, Wall Street, doing just that, the right and decent thing to do.
Right. They're not worried about the people.
No,
and that's the thing the president said today, was he was worried about all the people whose lives the Mueller investigation is ruining. And I know many of them, and it's true. Yeah. And it's outrageous. This isn't the way our system is supposed to work. We're not supposed to have Mueller investigating people looking for a crime. That is the opposite of what we're supposed to be seeing in America today. And the outrage, as you say, that left-wing media has just completely abdicated its responsibility to hold the government accountable in the form of Robert Mueller.
Cleta, great to have you with us. We appreciate
Great to
it
be
so
here.
much.
Thank you.
Cleta Mitchell, thanks a lot.